Thank you, Board President Bowen. Good evening and welcome to our May board meeting. I am delighted to provide you with my remarks this evening. Well, to begin, each month we like to take the time to recognize NOLA PS employees who are committed to our district's vision and work hard to help our schools and scholars succeed year in and year out. Please direct your attention to the screens to see this month's years of service. Congratulations to Vitquin Pham for 10 years of service, currently as our student enrollment coordinator, and to Isaac Johnson for 15 years of service currently as the executive director of safety and security. Thank you both for your excellence. Let's give them a round of applause. Each month, we also take pride in celebrating an employee who goes above and beyond, embodying the commitment and excellence that inspire us all. This month, NOLA PS proudly honors the one and only John Holmes, who is our Executive Director of Capital Improvements and has been with the district for almost 2 years now. His commitment to providing exceptional learning spaces is helping us optimize our building portfolio for current and future success. He leads with integrity, attention to detail, and a vision that consistently puts students first. John's proactive planning and solution-oriented mindset helps our district adapt, grow, and thrive. His work often happens behind the scenes, but its impact is felt in every classroom, hallway, and playground. I would like to note, like most recently, John has championed the work that we've been doing with the Ninth Ward Stadium and working with that community and has brought us a very long way in that work. And I know the community in the Ninth Ward team has been very grateful for your partnership and collaboration and how you've represented the district. Thank you, John. And at this time, I'd like to invite you up front to receive the Excellence in Action Award and to take pictures with our board members. Welcome, John. Oh, Don, are you happy? Yes. Operation made the map, so he's excited. I am too. All right. So now I want to move into what I would like to refer to as my entry plan in the role of superintendent. So even though I had the privilege of serving as interim superintendent, I did want to take a moment to highlight some of the areas that I will focus on in my entry. And I'm calling it an entry plan versus a 90-day plan or 100-day plan because we're about to go into summer, school's ending, and I don't want to shortcut and say, well, I got 2 months out the way on summer break or something like that. But I think it's important to make sure we transition into this new space smoothly. And so I will briefly just highlight some of the details of the plan, and then we will release the plan in our district digest that will go out at the end of May, and we will revisit this when the school year opens up and begin again. So let's dive into that, and I'm calling my entry plan Forward Together. And it really focuses on 4 areas very similar to what I strive to focus on in my interim work. And I'm excited that it reflects both continuity and growth in each area, building upon the work that we've already begun together, but creating a space to listen more deeply, to pivot, to collaborate, and to just start a new direction for our district. So I want to tap into the first area of engagement excellence. And in this area, I'm simply focused on establishing public trust, increasing transparency, and cultivating positive and productive relationships with stakeholders. And you will see at a very high level that that work consists of, the implementation of advisory councils that are facilitated by the superintendent, continuing our work with working groups and making sure we're leveraging solution circles around district needs. It also incorporates being intentional about engagement. I'm having one-on-one meetings right now with our school leaders, making sure I'm facilitating listening sessions around the community and participating in community events and immersing myself in all the things that are happening in our schools and around the city. And lastly, in that area, it talks about streamlining internal and external communications and making sure that we are recentering the district around communication about our schools, the core work we're doing, the impact our work is having in the community and on our students, and that is focused on the strategic plan work that we're doing. So that's a little bit about the engagement excellence focus. Next, I'll talk about school excellence. This is simply about nurturing a culture of high expectations, high support, and accountability for schools. So when we think about how we strengthen accountability measures for our schools, that's both direct run and our charter schools. And most people are familiar with that work through our charter school accountability framework, but we're also developing the direct run school accountability framework. You'll also see a focus on high priority areas that we've collectively decided that we want to pour our efforts into, and that's what our working groups align with. And the last is ensuring that we have transparency in our renewal processes. This is an annual occurrence, and we want to make sure that not only schools are abreast of what to expect, but the community at large understands what's happening with our schools during these processes. The next section is operational excellence. And here, this area is about improving organizational coherence and alignment with strategic plan goals and board priorities. So whether that work is through the goals that I'm being held accountable for as the superintendent, the work of our strategic plan, or what we already know is our core work and responsibility to our schools. So in that, I'm focused on standardizing processes and procedures and our organizational structure for greater efficiency. This is about conducting a thorough assessment of our current strategic plan and making sure that we're going through that like an autopsy. What are we going to continue to do? What's working, what's not working, so we can revamp at the 18-month part. And the last part is aligning our planning efforts with the strategic plan. So this is making sure that we are prioritizing the work we've already committed to doing as a district and not just, pulling things out the hat every other day and losing focus and being wider but not as deeper. And we want to get to a point where we actually start to see some movement and results through our work. The last section of my entry plan focuses on people excellence. Build and strengthen culture and further our commitment of excellence for all employees. So this is stronger teams in our central office, focusing on the leadership development of our staff, establishing central office customer service protocols. We are a people organization, and I believe that how we treat people reflects how we value the people and our students in our schools. And so emphasis on customer service, and improving our central office culture and climate. I believe that we do our best work when we feel better about where we're working and who we're working with and what we're working on. And so that will that will be the last part of our people excellence area. With that, before I transition to anything, that is the high level of my entry plan, but you'll get more in the release. Are there any questions about that before I move on? All right. Next, I want to provide you with a few updates on some key areas that I've been focusing on, starting with our working groups. Specifically lifting up three that we have right now around portfolio and accountability, chronic absenteeism, diverse and exceptional learners. Just want to broadly share with the community that it's been a very rich experience working with our CMO leaders. They are assigned to different working groups of their interests. They're engaging with our staff. We're really coming up with goals and strategies to improve these three areas across our system. For example, when I think about our diverse and exceptional learners, I think about how we focus our efforts around newcomers. I think about how we look at funding to support different tiers of needs for our students. And we also think about economies of scale in terms of services, evaluations, and resources for students who are diverse and exceptional learners. Chronic absenteeism, we want to start getting our community ready for a shift in our focus on a chronic absenteeism. This will include the launch of an attendance hearing office that will provide additional supports to our schools who are struggling to reach students who are chronically absent. And in that area, we will focus on our staff capacity, clarity around the system of what chronic absenteeism looks like and what interventions work best, focusing on parent training, professional development, and resource allocation. And the last part of that work with chronic absenteeism focuses on how we work together across interagencies to ensure there's role and goal clarity in our focus. The next area for our portfolio and accountability side of the work really talks about honing in on enrollment targets, district optimization, and how we look at the offerings and quality of our portfolio of schools. And so those are just some highlights on what the working groups are focusing on. Now that we're going into summer, our team will work with strategic partners and experts in this to do some deeper planning and to start to shape the plans that we will implement in the fall. So we're really excited about that work. The last area of my updates are around the direct run school accountability. Our accountability team, along with our school support team and our student support team, will start to build around these 5 areas of the framework. That includes academic performance, organizational effectiveness, financial health, enrollment, goal attainment, and culture and climate. And how we're building around these areas, we have essential questions that will guide how we're doing in that area. We're looking at data and reporting. We're looking at compliance areas, audits of our work annually, how we're supporting teachers and leadership at the school. So you will start to see more. We just wanted to introduce how the framework will be structured, but over the summer, we will start to dive deeper into building out the content within that framework, and Raphael and other members of our team will start to shape that up in terms of how we hold our direct run school accountable in these areas. And to close out my remarks, just want to give a shout out and acknowledge that we are officially in graduation season, and it is like my favorite time of year next to when school begins, back to school time. And so we are just so proud of all of our graduates, staff and leadership at each and every school, families and communities and all of those who are part of the village of helping our students reach this point of this milestone in their life. And so we just want to shout out MLK, Sophie B. Wright, Landry, McDonough 35, McMain, and Carr, who is currently graduating right now, on their accomplishments. And myself and our board members, we're out and about at graduations because we're just so proud of our students. And so look forward to seeing us out and about at the upcoming graduations. And with that, that concludes my remarks. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fulmore. Colleagues, any questions or comments? Mr. Parker?
Yeah, I just wanted to first note that, every month when we do the acknowledgments of staff, there's always, wonderful people to be celebrated. We got a real all-star team today with the chief and with Mr. Holmes and Mr. Pham, just really sort of stalwarts of the excellent work that is done in this building. So I wanted to congratulate them all on their awards and their years of service. And John, I can't wait for you to be here for your 15 years of service as well. A question I had for you, Dr. Fulmore, on your engagement excellence. The first bullet point talks about advisory councils, working groups, solution circles, roundtables. Are there issues that are sort of at the fore for you right now that you're considering sort of launching those first? I know some of this work is ongoing, but either things that are of utmost priority or things that are just on your radar at this time?
Yes, thank you for that question. I think a lot of what we're hearing remains in alignment with what our schools have lifted up, like how do we as a community support attendance and ensuring that our students are in school every day? How do we do that collectively and work together to support? We know that our community is very keen on how we're doing fiscally as an organization, and they just want to know that we're being good stewards of our resources, and they want to ensure that we are being transparent about how we're managing taxpayer dollars and supporting our schools. And so we want to make sure that we're sitting at the table around that as well. I also think it's important for schools to understand what we're doing in terms of quality, accountability, and just like our portfolio overall. I know as we start to dive deeper into district optimization, how we look at enrollment challenges and things of that nature, renewal processes, those are things that families want to hear more about. And then I think the last thing is how can the community and families do more and be part of the learning experience and the work that we do as a system. I think people want to feel better connected to the work and just want to know how they can help and partner. And so there are some spaces there that we can lift up to show like what our schools need and who could best support our schools in those areas. So those are just some of the things that come top of mind to me.
Great, thank you. I think the only other comment that I have is on the under people excellence, the establishing district customer service protocols. Mm-hmm. I think that is incredibly important. I'm glad to see it listed here, and I'm thinking about that. Our customers. Sometimes our customers are obviously the students and families that we serve. Right. Sometimes our customers are the charter management organizations that we work with. Sometimes our customers are our vendors who need to get paid on time.
That's right.
So I just think it's critically important that we focus on that, and I'd love to see that sort of customer service mindset starting to be infused into this work.
Absolutely. I think those things tie into, public trust, and it ties into how we show up as good partners in our community. So it's definitely important to us.
Mr. Marshall?
Yes, you alluded to the release of your plan. When can we expect that?
So for the community at large, our monthly district digest is our mass distribution of it, and so it will be there accessible to that. So I will release it to the board before it goes out to the community. So you'll see like the glossy version of that, if that makes sense.
When?
But this month, okay. So it will go out. We send our district digest out, I believe it's the last day of each month. Okay. So that's when it will go out to the community at large. And so the team will take this into printing and put together like the glossier version. Great. So Great. The board can receive it.
Okay, yep. Thank you very much.
Any other? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Fulmore.